Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I appreciate you guys checking out my day job. And my day job has now come to include using my Inventable X-Carve Pro. And I love it, and I'm still learning on it. I am not the best when it comes to working with the computers, but my son, he is actually a lot better with this than I am. And I'm beginning to use this, of course, for my business. I do all kinds of arts and crafts and things like that. I'm working over there, you see, on repairing a guitar. Over here, I actually make these, I call them Joe Bardies, but they're actually like trophies. So we're going to get to the point where we actually will be able to cut out the pieces for these and be able to put them together using the machine as I get better with it. Today, what I'm doing is I buy these birch countertops, and I cut them down to size. This is a 16 by 24. And what we do with these is I actually do a carving on one side. If somebody wants a logo or something different on them, they can get it carved into it. And then what I do is, of course, paint it, and then I end up using the epoxy resin on one side. The other side, we end up keeping that side the natural wood, and we use chopping block oil on it. So they can use one side as a butcher block, the other side, well, it's a nice display piece or a piece that you can turn around and use it for serving. Ideally, using epoxy resin cutting boards, using it as an everyday cutting board is not the best of ideas because it will end up chipping and messing up, but using it as a serving platter is actually really good, so you get a dual purpose out of it. I've actually got several that are in the works right now that are orders for people, and I have this one that I'm making now, 1.51, got to get the measurement of it, that I'm making for a gentleman who is an Eagles fan. So we're going to get this piece clamped down first. We need to get our measurement on here, and I'm going to show you, hopefully, how exactly this whole thing works. I started one piece this morning and I messed up because it's 16 by 18 and I turned it the wrong way. So I'm now having to go through and do a new blank for it to start over. But again, this is still a learning process for me, and we're going to get better with this over time. For the most part, the machine itself is very easy to use. The software is great as well. I'm just not that technology guy. At 56 years of old, it takes me some time to get used to using equipment. So here's what we have. We have actually, this is what we're going to be carving out. So let's go ahead and get set up here. All right, so first thing we need to do is I'm going to actually set the machine over here. I'm going to move you guys over a little bit. This is kind of low tech here working in my workshop, but I want you guys to be able to see everything that we do. Didn't mean to kick the camera here. This, of course, is our cutter head, and we're going to use the tools here to kind of get it set up. Okay. So the first thing we have to do is we have to confirm the thickness, 1.5. Okay, so we got the thickness on there. We've got the material clamped. We are using a V-bit, and now we need to get our probe. Now, I built this section in here specifically for this X-Carver. I actually have a really small workshop, and space is a premium. But basically what I've done is I've taken my table saw and extended everything off of it. So if I'm using a 4x8 sheet of plywood, the table saw surface actually gives me the holding capability on there. It actually works out really good. The other nice thing is once I turn this thing on, I can set it and let it run, and I can be working on like the guitar over there, or I can be working on, I've got a dresser over there that I'm working on as well. I still have plenty of space in my workshop, so it's actually beginning to increase the production that I have. All right, so we have the probe. Okay, we're confirming the position. firm position. Clip is attached. We now touch the probe to the unit. Touch plate is in place. Start the probe. So now the probe's going to go down. It's going to touch the probe, and now it knows where to go. We're going to take this off. Got that unhooked. Pull the probe away. Now we have to set the unit to the corner so it knows where it's supposed to start and work it. Okay, it's set at 0. Okay, now we need to put our dust shoe on here. Now, you don't have to use a dust shoe on here if you like to suck on dust. But I've actually got this hooked up to my dust collecting system. I have a 3 horsepower Oneida dust collector that's here in the workshop. One thing that I will tell you that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to use a bigger hose. The problem with using a regular dust collector, and I don't know the reason why, the smaller the diameter hose, the less velocity it gets. For some reason, the smaller diameter of a hose of a shop vacuum, the more suction you get. It's the reverse on a dust collector. I don't know. But what I did was I took the original hose that was on here and removed it, and I used a 2.5-inch hose. And you can see I have draped my hose all the way to the ceiling so it can float around with the unit. So it's actually out of the way, and I just keep the blast gate open on it. So now, we've got that attached. It's real simple. It tells you basically. We're going to turn on the spindle. And then the spindle is on. And I'm going to go turn on the dust collector. I'm going to clear off the table. Make sure there's nothing in the way. And we're going to let her rip. Woo. Okay. Spindle is on. Hard. Now I can go do some other work. Well, guys, this video has been 53 minutes long. 53 minutes total time. I'm speeding up the cutting parts of this. So let's show you what we've actually done here. And we're going to raise up the machine and take it out of the way. Okay. We're going to take a look at it and see what we have here. Are you ready? Now, here's what we have. This is our carving here. It's an eagle. It's got a football right there. We'll go through. I'll sand this a little bit. Sometimes my bit may be getting a little bit worn. It's been put to the ringer, so I may need to get it sharpened to replace it. But we'll go through and we'll paint in. I'll paint the eagle's head white right here. I'll paint the football color, and I'll paint everything else green, and then sand it out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to epoxy it. So this side is going to be the serving platter, or the side you have up. The other side is your butcher block. And I've got several of these that are in the works, different looks and styles on them. But here's the great thing. So while this machine is actually doing its thing, it's actually increased my productivity, because I'm working on a bunch of the little Joe Barty trophies. I've gone through and cut the grooves in those over my bandsaw. I've sanded them. I've actually already gotten them painted. And because I've increased the capacity here on the dust collection, you don't see any dust. There's no dust whatsoever. So I'm able to actually paint my pieces of work over here, have them drying without any dust on it. I was able to go ahead and put the face frame over there, get that glued on and clamped up. It's out of the way. Paint some more blanks for different pieces that are going to go in here, and I can just boom, drop these in here and go on and do something else. I absolutely positively love the machine, and I can see over the course of time it will really pay for itself. One, in the productivity that I can do, because it's not just the machine that I can do. I'm doubling the amount of stuff that I can produce, because this is like an extra person here. It is a big investment, but now to be able to customize, to be able to do things like this for customers, to do things like this. This is actually a Valentine's plaque right here, to be able to do signs, lettering, and things like that. Now, I don't know for sure. Now, this is me, and this may be John Henry versus the steam machine, because I am old. I'm 56 years old. I started woodworking or carpentry work when I was about 9 years old, working with my uncle, putting an addition on my parents' home. And I'm so used to doing everything myself. I've been building cabinets, thousands of cabinets for years. This will be able to have the capacity to go ahead and take a 4x8 sheet of plywood, and I can lay everything out. It'll cut it. It'll cut cleaner cuts than it will with a circular saw. But the amount of time that it takes to lay it out, I'm still not quite there yet. The amount of time it takes to cut out, I mean, I went through with the dresser that's over there, and in about 30 minutes I cut out all the pieces and we were ready to assemble it. So I'm not quite sure that this is going to replace that, but to be able to do things that I could never do before, oh, this definitely is going to be a lifesaver, and it will launch what I'm doing to a whole nother level. So that's what I got right now for you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in some of the stuff that we make here, like I said, I'm actually assembling some of the trophies that we do right now. Or if you're looking for a custom piece, I had a person who said they're looking for cubicles to be throwbacks for retro video games and stuff on there, so they'd like to see like asteroids and things like that, that we'd be able to do those things. So it's really limited by your imagination on what we're able to do. Definitely email me at cowboysmark94@gmail.com, or you can check out my shop. It's going to be increasing the stuff that we're putting on there, because the new stuff that I'm doing now, I'm making samples of and getting it in place. That's cowboyjoeboo.com. So I appreciate you, and I got to get back to work. It looks like I got gray paint on my underarm, but I'll see you soon. Peace.